David, we have a working system. I am excited to tell you we got to put some labels on this thing, do a couple other little light things, and we should ship it this afternoon. Wanted to run through it real quick so you understand what we've got. Here's your main controller. Got a little more complicated than my initial setup, trying to get everything to work just like we wanted it to. So wanted to show you how to operate it. First thing, these controllers, master, and this one will say slave. In fact, I have the label here somewhere. Regardless, this one will say slave. This controller and this controller are just indication. They won't do anything. The buttons aren't operable, easily accessible anyway. You'll see I've taken labels off. We're going to have to change some labels here and get those up and running. Here's your controller here, and this is where you'll make all your connections, all your corrections. As we look at it, we see this is your test monitor page, and we see we're having tool temperature. We have a maximum hot air temperature, maximum air temperature, a flow rate, whether it's heat on and what channel it's in, and a chart page. Over here we show what pattern we're in, our channel. Across the bottom we have a select pattern, run, stop, and adjust pattern. When you first start this unit, it's the start, stop, push button. You have to push, pull. You pull it, now you're ready to start. You have to push the start button before anything else will happen. Push the start button, and now we should have airflow. If we look inside the panel, we'll see this first contactor is on, which means we have airflow. Sorry about the shaky camera work. I'm doing this on my phone. Anyway, so we see our flow rate, heat chart. Let's go to chart. Well, let's go to run. When we push run, you have a heat on light that'll come on, and you'll have a high alarm that's showing now. Usually it should be off. And that's a high alarm on your air temperature. We were concerned about parts before you get to your tool getting too hot. That shows you that. Alright, so we go to select pattern. We have 4 patterns here we can select from. We go to select pattern 1. We'll see we have a temperature setting, the process variable, and then on the slave we have a temperature setting and a process variable. And normally we would be in remote mode, so this wouldn't be, you wouldn't see these numbers over here. We'll get there in a second. On this side we see ramp rate, degrees per minute, how much soak time, and what the link is, which channel will you go to next. So in this case we have 0 ramp rate. Let's change that to 10 and enter. You'll see now, we'll see that our set point here shows 150, but if you actually look at the controller, it's at 81, and the set point will continue to climb until it reaches that 150. When it gets to the 150, we'll begin our soak time. Our soak time here is showing as 60 minutes. We can go up to 999. And then which link, which is basically the next pattern you're going to move to. So in this case, we have all these variables set. Now let's look over here. This is a very important feature. We were concerned about the airflow, getting air too hot. This will set what your maximum temperature set point is for your airflow. So you can set scaling, and then once you get to set scaling, you have to stop the controller in order to make this feature. One of the things that took us so long to get this thing straightened out was this feature here. You stop the controller, we're waiting. It's now controlled. Now it's ready to change. We have to change our temperature. Let's change it to 250. And we can set our low air temperature to. If this is for a cooling application, you're going to have to set that because its standard is 0. And we'll have to restart the controller in order for everything to work. And now we've restarted the controller. turn, and we see here that our new span is 250. Let's go to alarm setup. In the alarm setup, we can set up our high alarm, high deviation. I would prefer you don't change the high temperature shutdown. I went back and forth on whether or not to just take that out completely. High temperature shutdown is just to protect the heater. There's your deviation alarm, which if we have an alarm, let's go back here and set up an alarm. We'll see we have an alarm, and our alarm light comes in. We also have a low alarm deviation low. Notice that that's in -10, not 10. All right, at this, and then here we set our flow rate. I have it set for -10 just so it'll operate right now since we don't have any flow. But usually we'd set that at a higher number. And let's get out of there and back to our first screen. We see we have heat output. Let's go back here to alarms. We have a high alarm. Interesting. Got a high alarm should come on right there. I'll fix that before we ship it out. So let's go back here. There's our alarms. We'll see what zone we're in on both controllers. And let's go back here. Now let's go to alarm. Let's go to pattern 2. Pattern 2 I have set up now for cooling. So basically what we've just done is we've heated up to our temperature, and now we will cool our temperature back down. A couple of things you need to make sure you understand, or you can understand, is that this temperature here is a second or a third RTD output that we don't have in the system right now, but it would monitor your cold air temperature. It doesn't control on that, it just monitors that. We're just in single control when we do cooling. It should work fine. That way, if it's not, we can address it at some point down the line. So there we are. We go back to alarm setup. We see we're in cool, our airflow, and there's our high and low deviation alarms. See if this alarm works. Oh, by the way, that's a good point. Let's go back here. Take it out of cool. And I'll put it back in cool. Go back to main. You'll see we have an air purge cycle on this unit, so that before you can run, before the air shuts off when you change to cooling, we're just going to run clean air through there for 60 seconds. That's before, 60 seconds before you can use the bypass. Also note, it says cool too. Go back to adjust pattern. Let's see what our temperature is. 50 degrees. So if we want a high alarm, let's go to 150. Okay. Now we set high. Now we should have a high alarm. And we have the master shows a low alarm. What did I go back here again? Oh, sorry, I did that with a low alarm, not a high alarm. Set that at 10. Oops. -10. And back. Back here. Okay, so our actual temperature is that. So in order to get a high alarm, we're going to have to put our temperature low. There, now we'll get a high alarm. And we do. We get our high alarm. Okay. Now, the other thing is you got to learn is how to auto-tune this unit, which is going to be pretty much the most important part of this feature. We're going to go here, and it shows here PID values. Let's get out of cooling. There's a 2-second delay, by the way, on some of these buttons. All right, just to keep people from nuisance hitting them. We go to PID values, and we see we have an auto-tune and a Cascade on. First off, Cascade on is normal operating condition. You'll note here there's a remote indication showing that we're remote control. In other words, this unit is controlling this unit. If we need to auto-tune, we go to auto-tune, and you'll see it says put slave in local control. Push the button. Now it says auto-tune slave. Now, if auto-tune slave is at 0 degrees, then we'll have to set in a number. So that is going to be, let's say we're going to auto-tune at 152. Usually we'd like to auto-tune somewhere near your higher range of whatever that scale was we did before. Alright, now when we say the auto-tune slave button and auto-tune slave, there we go, auto-tune slave button, and you'll look here and you'll see it's auto-tuning. At the end of that auto-tune, you'll see these numbers update to new PID variables. Now you can manually put those into other patterns if you want to, or you can auto-tune each of the different patterns. On the slave, I'm not sure once you get it set up with the right airflow that you need to adjust that. You might want to just plug and ball in. Now we're going to turn off auto-tune, and we're going to go here to auto-tune system. So first you auto-tune the slave, then you auto-tune the entire system. Notice here, auto-tune comes in on this unit. We see it remote is in, so we're auto-tuning off of this unit. It tells us a set point on this unit in order to control. Alright, so now we're auto-tune. Let me go back out of there. System auto-tune. So we're out of auto-tune, and let's go home. There's your home page again. The only other thing we've left off here is your chart. We have a chart, which is pretty basic, really. It's going to monitor the temperature. Right now we're out of range because we have 0 set in, so we're going to have to set that. Set scale minimum, let's say 50 degrees. Set scale maximum at 150. And now we'll see what our temperatures are. Get out of there. See what our temperatures are. And if we were to touch the thermocouple, I don't think I have it on scroll at the moment. Maybe I do. You can see here that it started to go up. Really don't know that there's much more to do. One thing that's important is that if you hit the stop button, everything's going to stop. You see the controllers go into stop mode. Start it. And I've disrupted my thermocouple, but other than that, restarted it, and we're back running. And we can go to adjust pattern and see what we've got. I just, when I put my hand on that thermocouple, I loosened the lead, so it's not on right now. Everything's fail safe, so if the thermocouple does fail, it drives up scale and shuts off. We did stop it. Let's start it again. If you do hit the stop button, everything takes a while, takes 60 seconds before the air will stop. Anyway, that's the system. I'll enclose a wire diagram, and I will enclose a terminal layout so that you know what terminals to hook up to, and a real rough guide on how to auto-tune. Hope this works great. Let me know how it works, and if there's anything else I can do for you, thank you very much.